feed here to follow up with our earlier class today, which was Intro to your 4, 5, and 7 series machines. I just wanted to show you a Bernina 325. There's also a Bernina 335, and the Bernina 335 and 325 are very similar, and I just wanted to cover threading, loading a bobbin, taking the bobbin out, and stitch selection. So hopefully you'll see this video in our video string. So here is the Bernina 3 series. There's a few things that are on the machine. First of all, there is a sliding motor speed control here. It does take the Bernina regular foot control. There's another foot control that has the heel tap feature on it, but these particular machines take the regular foot control. There is an LED screen here that we can see. The flashing light is the default settings of that particular stitch. When you turn on the machine, you're going to get a straight stitch. So we have just turned on our machine and we have the straight stitch, the presser foot recommendation, and whether or not the machine is going to land with the needle up or the needle down. And every time you turn it on, it's always going to land with the needle up unless you press this little button here, which is the needle up down button, to do so. So now every time we stop sewing, the needle is going to land down. If we want to bring it up or down, we can simply just press and hold the button and the needle goes down, or we press and hold the button and the needle comes up. But the default or the setting that we engage to put the needle down is still there. Let's go over here. So let's pick another stitch. So there are 10 stitches that have direct entry. It goes from 1 to 10, 10 being the buttonhole. So let's pick stitch number 2, and we can see here that the readout here has changed to stitch number 2. The width has now become like 3.25. Our needle position is still in the center, and our stitch length is over here. So I actually, if I wanted, I could adjust the stitch width, I can adjust the stitch length, and I can adjust the needle position. Now what's nice about this is I can do this on every stitch on this machine or the 335. Now I've created a wide satin stitch with the needle aligning to the left-hand side or the right-hand side of the machine. So now if I go back to my straight stitch, that's my stitch there, but then I can go back to stitch number 2 and it remembered my settings. It's going to remember these settings until I turn the machine off and on again, or I press this CLR button on there, which is the clear button. Now, there are other stitches on this machine. There are a button sew on, a rampart stitch for gathering, there's some satin stitches, up to 40 different stitches on the machine. So if I want stitch number 40, for instance, I'm going to press the hashtag 40, and you can see here now I am using stitch number 40 on the machine. Got some goodies here. I'm using this Metler Silk Finish cotton thread. This is a 50 weight thread, and our thread is going to go on with the thread coming around like this horizontally. Now there are 2 spool pins on this machine, just like our other Berninas, but we're going to put this thread on horizontally, and remember, wherever the thread goes, the foam pad goes. So we're going to put that on there like that. Now this spool requires the large spool cap like this one, but there's also a medium spool cap for those smaller spools of thread, and the nubbin spool cap for like the Aurifil and the Isocord thread. And then also on the 3 series, the 3 series takes a different size bobbin. It is the standard Bernina CB Bobbin, and that is also going to go on here on our little bobbin winder. All right, so let's get the spool cap on, and then we're going to go back here around that little thread guide, and then we're going to go clockwise around the button tensioner. There we go. Now I'm going to wind it around the bobbin 5 times, and then I'm going to cut. And now I can wind the bobbin all the way, or I can, if I need to stop it, I can just disengage the bobbin winder. And now if I'm doing a little bit of sewing, that's all I need. But if you wind it all the way, it's going to stop when it's done. All right, so now I can cut the thread. And now it's ready to go down here into the bobbin. So this ought to be fun. So this is our expansion table here. We want to take this off so that you can see under the bobbin area. So I'm going to take that off. It's got that quick little release button. And I'm going to open the bobbin door. And then you can see our bobbin case. I'm going to pull this little lever and pop this out. So now I'm just trying to get that thread under the bobbin case. And under the spring. There we go. So now when it pulls, it should pull clockwise. Do you see that little hole right there? That little hole can be threaded for buttonholes and decorative stitches, but we're not going to thread that right now. So let's get this back in here, pinkies up, down in the machine, cut, close the bobbin door. Now we're going to get the thread from around the bobbin hole tensioner. We're going to make sure our presser foot is up, which it is. And now we're going to go down through the tension discs, under the thread take up, to the right and down the left, around this guide, around here, and now we're going to use the needle threader. And the needle threader works just like the 7 series machine, so I cannot do this while I hold my phone. I can only do that when I have like my tripod, so I am not going to use the needle threader. So please watch the video on the 5, 7, and the 4, 5, and 7 series for that one. But down here, if you wanted to dust out and clean and take your hook out and everything, this machine is very similar to take out your needle. So you can unscrew the needle to get that out. See how I didn't take the screw all the way out? You don't want to do that. We're going to remove the presser foot by lifting this up and pulling down. Then we're going to press in the corner here to get the needle plate off. And then you would use your dust brush to dust. Then we're going to get the bobbin case out again. And then we're going to release the shuttle race cover, which is right here. And pull out the hook, pardon me, while I reach in there. And then I would inspect my hook for any little burrs or ridges or anything like that. And I would use my dust brush to dust out in there. And then it goes back in the way that it came. Now there's no magnet that's going to hold this in place. We just need to kind of nicely encourage it into position like that. Close the shuttle race cover. Put the bobbin back in. Close the door. Put the needle plate back on. Put our foot back on. And put the needle back in. Not an easy thing to do one-handed. You can see what happened there. But anyway, I hope this was helpful in kind of navigating you around the Bernina 3 series. Thanks for watching, and tune in later as we cover some of the other machines in the line.